those in video land. We are finishing up this chapter today, reviewing Monday, testing Tuesday. We really have to go at this pace to finish the last two chapters before the AP test in mid-May. So, let us look at matched pairs. We are going to determine when we have a matched pair, which we learned about in a previous chapter, chapter 9. And then matched pairs is chapter 9. And today we learn, or in this chapter we learn two sample statistics. So I want to have sometimes it's two samples and sometimes it's matched pairs. We're going to finish today practicing the difference between the two. So let me remind you, this is a before. On page 577 we did matched pairs, and if you recall, we had a difference between those who were a depressed, remember they did a depression score for those who had a placebo pill for caffeine. So they took people that were fairly addicted to caffeine and they gave them a depression score. And they randomly decided whether they got a caffeine pill for 2 days or a placebo for 2 days. And they looked at the difference. So let's see how you would do this. So the difference is mean of the depression score with placebo minus the mean of the depression score with the caffeine pill. So do you expect that in your stat gut to be a positive number or a negative number? Negative. Are you depressed when you're on a placebo?
You're more depressed on the caffeine, so...
Yes, you're depressed when you're on the placebo, yeah.
So if you are addicted to caffeine and you're taking a placebo, you are very depressed.
So you don't know.
So you're expecting a high score minus a low score. So here was our hypothesis back then.
It's not a placebo, it's a pill.
It turns you into a placebo. So when you're trying to hide from someone...
So the other one's just a control, so it's just... Is that what the... Oh no, it's caffeine.
Alright, this is how we set it up before. Do you recall that? Notice in the hypothesis it's not M1 minus M2. It was the mean of a difference. So this was called a matched pair. A matched pair is when you give the treatment to the same person or two very similar people, first one and then the other. So notice there are not two samples going on. It's one set of people and they get both treatments. Do you see that there was not two sample groups here? There was one. And one day they took the placebo and one day they took the caffeine pill. So one sample, two treatments. So make a note of that. That's the main way you can tell the difference. One sample group receives both treatments. When you see that, you proceed like we did back then. So what did that procedure look like? We checked for RIN, and then we did a t-test. We did X-bar. What did we do? Pair T. We did X-bar. What did we do? What was the test when we had one sample? We did the difference between the two. So we had X-bar, the difference between the two. Remember, we only used the difference. We didn't use the pre-score or the after-score. We used the difference. So the mean of the difference, we did that. And we divided it by the standard deviation of the difference. And that was divided by square root of n. And that's how we got the t-score to evaluate with alpha and so forth. You recall that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was before. Then this happened. So let's see what happens now. So here's a crack in time, and we go ahead to this chapter. In this chapter, and let's call this, I called it matched pairs back then, and now the book calls it paired T.
Because it's cracking.
Time to crack a cold one.
Paired T procedure. It can be a test or a confidence interval. So that's either a test or a confidence interval. It doesn't matter which. CI, confidence interval. We call it paired T for matched pairs. All right, what we learned over in this chapter is not a matched pair. It is a two-sample T procedure.
Wait, was that what we called it before, and now we're calling it a two-sample T?
We always called it that. Two-sample T procedure, which is either an interval or a test.
So it's always been a paired T procedure? I thought we were putting that thing down there.
No,
Okay.
this is, I'll put it in red.
So that's only with the old.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the old. So we called it matched pairs. They are now calling it a matched, a paired T procedure. You see the word pair. So you see that we call it matched pairs, they're calling it paired T. So this is the same thing, just a little slight tweak of the name. What we have learned in this side of the crack, two sample T procedures for tests and for intervals. So when we do those, here's what we do. We do stuff like H sub O, M1 minus M2 equals 0. We've done, this is just like what we did last night, what we just did on the board. I'll
This
say
is
it's
after
not
now?
equal 0. So this is the now, yeah. So it's not new though, so I'm not saying it's old and now and new and I'm not saying this is new. This is what we've been doing for a day or two. So you check in. And we do T equals x bar 1 minus x bar 2 over S1 squared over N1 plus S2 squared over N2, and we proceed. All right, so with that in mind, how do you tell the difference? Well, matched pairs, or paired T now, is one sample group, and it receives both treatments, or sometimes there are two people that are very close in nature to one another, like two puppies from the same litter. So that can also be a matched pair. So remember how we did Lucy and the conveyor belt? That was a matched pair because first we said they would do it with machine-paced conveyor belt, and then they would work with self-paced, and we would compare the two satisfactions. So that was an example of matched pairs, now called paired T. All right, and this last couple days, we have had two groups, two sample groups. One gets the treatment, one treatment, and the other gets the other treatment. And that's fundamentally different than a matched pair, which we now call paired T. Over here we had one person gets both treatments, or two very similar persons get two different treatments. Over here we have two completely different sample groups. One gets one treatment and one gets the other. So you should be able to recognize the difference between the two better than I can. All right, so let's practice a couple
How
of
you just
these.
gave us these.
Yeah,
Oh.
you just.
What?
You just gave us
Oh, how'd I get more? Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I did. All right, so now let's go over to the paper I gave you. And you can show them this paper. And it says, in each of the following settings, decide whether you should use paired T or two sample T. Explain your choice. So would you read letter A for us, Kevin?
To test the wear characteristics of two tire brands, A and B, one brand A tire, what? Yep, we're talking about tires. tires mounted on one side of each car in the rear, while brand B tires mounted on the other side. Which side gets which brand is determined by flipping a coin. The same procedure is used on the front.
Okay, so I circled each car. Can you see that word? Alright, why did I circle each car? Which side of the crack is that pushing me toward when it says each car?
It's this thing.
The new one.
No, it's the old one.
Wait, why?
Each car. Because
Oh,
we have
each car receives- each car receives the
one
same
car is receiving both tires.
So it's.
So one car is getting both samples, it's both treatments.
Yeah. Okay.
So therefore, A is matched, or we'll call it pair T. Pair
Wait,
T.
I'm confused. Each car is getting both treatments?
Yes.
they're getting
both tires. Each
Okay.
car, both
Yes.
cars.
That's why I circled each
Okay.
Yeah,
car.
that makes sense.
You see, I always look for a keyword to help my small
So,
brain.
did we do this a long time ago, or did we do this is what we've been doing like yesterday?
That was a long time ago. Well,
What we're doing right
last
now?
chapter.
This is this
We're
pair
doing
T-
both. We're checking, we're trying to figure out whether it's this or this on each one.
Okay.
All
But
right,
is
so
the one underneath, is this something new, or is this what we've been doing for
that's
the
what
past
we've been
few years?
doing.
Okay. I thought we were learning like a new thing today, like a new
Nope.
formula.
All right, we're just telling the difference between what we learned a while ago in chapter 9 on match pairs, now called pair T, and what we learned yesterday, two sample T. All right, read B to us, Ryan.
B. Can listening to music while working increase productivity?
Yes.
20 factory workers agreed to take part in a study to investigate this question. Researchers randomly assigned 10 workers to do a repetitive task while listening to music, and the other 10 workers to do the task of biology.
All right, do we have one sample going there with two treatments? Or do we have two samples going, one with a different, each with a
Two
different,
samples with different treatments.
each one has a different treatment. So we have a two sample T procedure on part B. The answer is two sample T procedure.
So is that all the questions asking?
All right, party out.
Okay.
All right, and from there, you could go on and do the test by setting it up like this, but we're not going to. We're just going to assume you can do a test like that. All right, if you would read A, B, and C to yourself and give me your answer, I will tell you whether you are right or not. So you're going to tell me either this, or you're going to tell me this. Have they seen the problems?
Yeah.
This set two, this part, they've seen it.
Yes.
Is it in?
I believe so. Get it again though.
We're working on A, B, and C. And your assignment will be to do the back where you'll be practicing these several times. So hopefully I can get you through the front before you have to leave.
You want us to do the back for homework?
Yes,
Go just do A, B, and C right now.
yes.
So we've been saying that the old section is one big sample group getting one treatment.
Yeah, one sample group receives
Getting both
both
treatments.
treatments.
Both.
The options
Okay.
are
Placebo
one
and
group getting both
caffeine.
treatments.
Sort
or
of
two
think of
groups
the
getting
idea
different
when
treatments.
Okay.
Like I say I'm addicted to caffeine. So one day I take the caffeine pill for 2 days, and the next day I take the placebo for 2 days. I never know which is which.
Miss
But do you see how one person got two treatments?
I thought the
For
Then
the
Miss Powell
first,
and
for
her
the
twins.
first one, is it saying that it says that each brand of tire is randomly assigned? So is like some cars get A and some cars get B? Is that what it's saying, or is it saying each car gets A and B?
One car gets all A, one car gets
Okay.
all B.
Cups of coffee.
I know, it's really hard to like.
It is. I know, that's why I got quite a few of them wrong. I hate how that happens. But maybe now that I've taught it, I can do it better.
Somebody
It's
take
still
your
lying.
phone.
It's an alarm.
Yeah, it's
And
probably someone's.
somebody just like probably left it in the teacher's lounge or something.
I know, but it's been happening for so long.
No, it's not, it's on my arm. It's like I get a call and my Fitbit type phone
Oh.
is supposed to tell me,
It sounds.
and it won't turn off, even though I hit stop, it won't turn off.
Are you sure it's yours, Miss Powell? I think
It's
it
in a
might be someone
different
else's.
room.
Her phone is.
Someone else's phone.
Is
Your phone is right there.
No, your phone's right going off, guys. It's this.
Where's your phone?
Your
Her
phone's
phone's.
right there.
It,
But it really sounds like.
It
they
sounds
really
like it's
do.
that.
wait, is the phone that noise?
No, her
I'm
phone's
confused.
right
My
there.
phone's
though.
right there.
And what's that?
I think
No,
it's two things.
The phone
I think two
knows
things
that
are
I didn't
happening at the
answer,
same
so it's not doing it.
Miss Powell's accidentally calling whoever phone is over there. That's why.
That's probably what you hear. You don't think that's it?
It sounds
I
like
think
Hold
there's
on.
two different
Hold on,
things
hold on, hold on.
happening.
It just
It
it won't
stopped.
turn off.
It stopped. That's because Miss Powell just hung up the phone.
It wasn't on my phone.
There was two different things happening.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right. In part A, they're trying to say that randomly a group of cars will get tire A and another group will get tire B. So it's clearly a two-sample T.
Yeah.
All right. The second one, to test the effect of background music, 1 month each. Subject works without, and then each subject works with. That's pair T. On the third one, a study was designed to compare the effectiveness of two weight-reducing diets. 50 were put in one group, 50 in another. It is a two-sample T.
So all we have is the back.
Right. All we have is the back.
Are they the
and
same?
You can start studying for
The
Tuesday's
top
test.
is bottom.
I think I figured out what I did wrong with that problem. I just need to get the numbers out of my calculator.
All right. Are they?
Yeah, it's
Andrew, I have to talk to Adam for a minute about our.
Check it out.
What were
Check it
they?
out.
Kevin.
What?
I think it was two sample.
So it's paired or unpaired?
Yeah. No. Two sample T procedure. Yeah, that's the yellow one. Two
So,
sample.
Bree, the baby shower's at the firehouse near where I live.
Downstairs.
But I think we're gonna drop Davey off with Alex, so Davey's gonna get picked up, and then we'll be there with the girls.
I mean, that's how it was.
Signing out. That was the photo button.